Alright, today we're going to talk about corresponding angles. Corresponding angles. So the diagram that we looked at last time was this diagram, right, with 4 different angles. Something like that. Well, another really common diagram in geometry, and one that we can prove a lot of different things about, is if we have this line here, and then we draw a line that's parallel to it. And this other line cuts through both of them. We can then label 5, 6, 7, 8 on this diagram.
So then we can prove other stuff.
And on this diagram, kind of the first thing that we talk about are corresponding angles. And corresponding angles, you could probably guess, are angles that are in the same place. If we were to take this set of angles and plop it right here, the ones that would overlap would be the corresponding angles. So corresponding angles are equivalent. And this is usually called the corresponding angle postulate. It's not something that we can really prove, but it's kind of like a definition. And it makes a lot of sense that if we had 2 parallel lines and one transversal, right, one line going through those lines, that the corresponding angles seem like they should be congruent to each other, right? But we're not going to try to prove that. That's just, we're going to take that as what we would call a postulate.
Wait,
so in geometry,
1 and 5 would be
a postulate,
and 2 and 6 and 3 and 7.
yeah, a postulate is typically something that we don't prove. It's something that we kind of know without having to prove it. Whereas a theorem, like the vertical angles theorem, is something that we need to prove based on our different definitions and postulates. So corresponding angles postulate, corresponding angles are congruent. So for example, angle 1 is congruent with angle 5. Or angle 2 is congruent to angle 6. Angle 3 is congruent to angle 7. And angle 4 is congruent to angle 8. In this diagram. Because they're in the same place relative to that transversal.
I'm here to interrupt class. I'm sorry.
Okay.
This is from Electra's mom.
Let me pause the video.